So in this video, I'm going to show you guys the laziest way to make passive income on YouTube using AI and how I use this exact strategy to make $994 in one single day. Now, this is just a screenshot. Like, if you guys don't believe this, I posted a video about this channel a few days ago. Just go back to my channel, have a look, and there you will see this exact video about this specific channel. But I want to go deeper into this today. Now, who am I? I'm Steffen. I've made hundreds of thousands of dollars with faceless YouTube channels, and I've helped hundreds of other people do the exact same thing. For example, here a student we've helped to reach his first $1,000 month within like maybe 2 months or something. Here another one taking him from $200 to $400 a day pretty quickly, as you guys can see here. Then another one who have helped to make $31,000 in one single month, and many, many more. Like for example, this one, $24,000 in one single month. Now, if you are interested in getting the exact same results, just check out the first link in the video description, book a call with me personally, and I'll have a look if I can help you or not. All right, so let's get started. Okay, so before we get started, let me be very straight up with you. There is literally no magical shortcut that runs a YouTube channel for you. I know that many people, sell that dream, but there isn't something like that. I've literally spent years managing multiple YouTube channels in multiple niches, right? So I actually know what works. A little background information to me: I've been on YouTube since I was 12 years old. I'm 23 years old now. I've built a personal brand to over 100,000 subscribers, sold it, and went all into faceless YouTube channels, all right? So here's the reality. True YouTube automation is a myth. What does work is a combination of smart outsourcing and strategic use of AI. Once you see the difference, your entire approach changes, all right? Most people don't have the right, how do you say it, like expectations when it comes to YouTube automation. They literally just think they're gonna just post a few videos and they're done, or they have a whole content machine and they don't ever have to do anything. Like, that's not what YouTube automation is. Obviously, you can build up systems, you can hire managers to do most of the work, but you can never completely, just remove you from the process, right? That's not something you can do. Okay, so this is very, 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 very important for you guys to know. And yes, with that being said, let's keep on going. So the truth about YouTube automation is very simple. Let's get rid of the idea right away. YouTube automation isn't real, all right? It sounds amazing. Set everything up once and let the money roll in while you sleep. That's what everyone is preaching on the internet, right? And I might be, how do you call it? I might be one of these people who have said that in the past, right? Everyone's doing it, but that's not exactly what it is. YouTube automation is not something you just set up and you make money while you sleep and you never have to work again, right? So forget that, please. But that's not how it works at all, right? Here's the real situation. Running a YouTube channel is like managing a small media business. It takes real people, real decisions, and real consistency. It doesn't run itself like a robot. Now, obviously, there are tools how you can run these AI channels. I don't know too much about those specific things, but it still needs real people. It still needs real decisions, and it still needs consistency. This is very important. What actually works is something I call managed production systems, all right? I'm gonna get into that a bit later. It simply means you guide the process while other people and AI tools help you create and manage the content, all right? So instead of trying to build some magic system that does everything for you, you build a repeatable setup where you're the leader, not the one doing every single task. This is super important. You organize the work, the ideas, the editing, and the talent or the freelancers actually then go ahead and create the content for you, all right? So my channels have reached millions of views using this method, not because I found a secret trick. There is literally no secret trick, by the way, but because I focused what matters. Good video topics, good content, and a smart strategy. Now, something I've not mentioned on here is a good niche. That is literally one of the biggest things, and I think we're going to get to that next. But a good niche is one of the most important things, and a good niche has allowed me, for example, with all of these things combined has allowed me to scale a channel from literally $0 to $60,000 in one single month. Now, if you don't believe me, I have a whole video covering that channel on this YouTube channel as well. So just check that out. So as I've already said, the niches or finding a profitable niche is everything. So before we talk about the whole system and how everything works, you need to know one more important thing. The niche you go into is everything, like everything. You can have the best video in the world, right? The best video on YouTube. But if your niche sucks, no one is going to watch it. All right. And then again, you can have a very bad video and a very good niche, and your video is going to get 1 million views, right? So the niche is everything. Look for niches that people want, but not many creators are covering yet. These are high demand and low competition areas, right? So let's actually have a look at how a good niche actually looks at, because this is something most people don't know. All right. And most people don't cover this. I don't know why. Even in very expensive coaching programs, this is something that is barely getting touched. Right. So like criteria number 1 is there are under 5 smaller channels creating content in this niche that are constantly getting more views than they have subscribers. This means there's high demand and low supply. Like here, the high views and the low subscribers is the easiest way to see if a niche has high demand and low supply, because many people get confused on how to actually see, hey, does the niche have high demand and low supply, right? Many people get confused on that, okay? So then there are no channels with over 100,000 subscribers, big role, because why should YouTube trust your new channel if there are already channels with over 100,000 subscribers? With which they have been pushing for months. Why should they trust your channel instead of those channels? Okay, ask yourself that. Then there are no smaller channels failing. This is very important. And most people, no joke, never look at this. You need to look if there are other channels failing, all right? If they are, you need to move on, because why should YouTube push your channel when it's not pushing other channels? Ask yourself that question. Then the niche is not older than 6 months. In most cases, if the niche is older than 6 months, these two will already like fall away, right? And these are one of the most important things. Then I can create better content than my competitors. Now, as I've said, like in multiple videos before, you can also just create longer content. All right. This also counts as better content. So you can also just go ahead and create longer content. Then am I actually interested in this niche? Now, this is not a must as long as you build a team that has interest in that niche. Now, something you may not mistake here is like you need to understand the niche though. Like you need to a little bit be inside the niche. You need to understand why something in that niche actually goes viral, right? So for example, me, I don't do any gaming content for YouTube, right? Nothing like that. Why? Because I have no interest in that and I know nothing about games, right? So I would never tap into that. But if I would, for example, find a viral channel that is doing very well in the gaming space, I would first go ahead and try to understand just a little bit how all of this works, what exactly the viewers want to see. That's something you have to do, right? Even if you are not interested in a specific niche. Keep in mind, because you have to pick video topics, all right? Then very important, is the niche monetizable? Very important. And then a huge bonus if you can post very long videos in that niche. That's just going to help you a lot with, a very high RPM, okay? So very important. Give yourself enough time to do the niche research and do not rush the process. Between all my students, like we have students making $60,000, $70,000, $80,000 a month and students that are, struggling. The biggest difference is some of these students are trying to rush the niche research, all right? They're taking one afternoon to quickly find a niche, to quickly get started. When others take a week to really find a good niche. Right? That's the biggest difference. And that's not the difference just for my students, but for everyone who is on YouTube. All right. So this is super important. But when you find a niche, right? Jump onto it as early as possible and create as much good content as you can before it gets crowded. This is super important. Now, if you jump on a niche very, very early and your channel grows and more competitors come in, you don't really have to worry too much about the saturation because you will be one of the first movers in that specific niche, all right? So you will automatically have an advantage over that niche, right? Over your competitors. If we look here, for example, that's why I say you don't want to go into niches where there are channels with over 100,000 subscribers because they simply have an advantage over you. YouTube already trusts their YouTube channel, all right? So this is very, very important, okay? So now let's get into the 4-step content system. So this is actually quite simple, but step 1, we write the script. All right, so we need a script. Once we found a niche, we need a script. Now for that, I use AI tools to help create the script very quickly because speed is key when it comes to anything, right? It saves time and keeps the content clear and consistent. Now, I have a video on this channel exactly on how we exactly write scripts using AI tools. So you can check that out as well after this video. If you're new here, check out the whole videos on my channel. I have so much on here. Yes. Then step number 2, create the voiceover. After the script is ready, I use AI tools like ElevenLabs to turn the text into a clean professional voiceover. All right. This is very, very, very easy. So here's exactly how easy it is. So you just copy the script, pick the voice you want, click generate audio and download the audio. I use different voice styles for different kind of channels. So it always depends on what my competitors are using. So if my competitors are using, for example, a very old man, then I would, for example, go and use a very old man as well. Right? So you always kind of just want to look at what are your competitors doing and what is actually currently working in the market, all right? What do the people like? Then the whole voiceover step takes around about 10 to 15 minutes and the audio quality is so good that a few years ago, it would have costed a lot of money to do something similar. So when I just started YouTube automation like 5 years ago, I paid $30, $40 for a voiceover. Right now, by the way, if you guys don't want to use ElevenLabs, there's another tool that's called GenAIPro. Now we literally pay $109 for 33 million credits, with which you can do like 1,500 hours of voiceovers, right? Which is absolutely insane. And that's why I just say right now is the best time to start your faceless YouTube channel. All right. And keep in mind, if you're interested in working close with me, just check out the first link in the video description, book a call with me personally, and I'll see if I can help you. Now, why do I say that now here again? Just because now is the time you want to get into YouTube automation, not in 2 years from now. Now is the best time, all right? So yes, then we get to step 3, which is visuals and editing. For the editing part, I actually always hire someone on Upwork and usually pay around $15 to $30 a video. On average though, my cost per video, including everything, is around about $15 a video. All right, $15, $20. That's my average. But it's not going to be that easy for most people to find an editor to do it for $15, right? We have a huge team and that's why we are able to get the videos for this cheap, all right? They do everything, find the clips, put the video together and add simple effects and finish it up easy. Like they literally do everything, all right? A simple rule I follow is we change the clip every 7 seconds or even faster. Right? I would never let the clip play more than 7 seconds. So as I say here, never let one shot stay on the screen for too long. This makes your video look more transformative, which is very important for YouTube and which YouTube really likes, especially when you're using things like celebrity footage or even movie scenes. Right? This is super important for you not to get demonetized. So keep the cuts quick, new angles, new clips, and a lot of movement. Also to keep the people engaged in your video. Because what we're trying to do is we're trying to keep people on YouTube for the longest amount of time possible, because then YouTube automatically pushes our video to a bigger audience simply because YouTube makes more money through our video because we keep people on YouTube for a long amount of time than our competitor video, all right? So this simple habit has protected me from a ton of copyright issues over the years, right? Now, what you can also do to avoid copyright issues is, for example, flip the script, flip the videos, how do you say it? Like horizontally or vertically flip the video. What you can also do is you can decrease the video playback speed to 98%. What you can also do is add overlays like this. What you can also do is zoom in. Okay, so these are all some tactics we use to avoid copyright claims. And if you use all of them together, that then obviously gets really, really powerful. All right, then we do obviously the thumbnails. The final step is making the thumbnail. And honestly, don't make this harder than it needs to be. Most thumbnails on YouTube, especially for, faceless channels, YouTube automation channels, are pretty simple to create, like very, very simple, especially these news type thumbnails, super, super easy to create. Sometimes I pay someone on Fiverr around like $5 to $10 to create it for me. Now, what I would recommend you guys to do is actually get these freelancers off those platforms and then work with them personally, like on WhatsApp, because then they don't have these fees. And that's why I say $5 to $10, because usually I pay around about $5 a thumbnail. Other times I create the thumbnails myself using Photoshop. As I said, like most of these thumbnails are so easy to create that it literally takes me maybe 2 minutes to create a thumbnail, all right? And that's literally the case for most thumbnails on YouTube. They're super, super easy to create. The goal is simple, make it eye-catching. Right? By the way, if you don't know how to create a thumbnail and all of these things, make sure to join our free, completely free Skool community with a free course and everything. I'll link it down below. So yes, let's continue. So the goal is to make the thumbnail very simple and very simple, but very eye-catching, right? You don't want a bunch of different text in your thumbnails, a bunch of 100 million different images, just 1 or 2 images with some text and done, right? Not fancy, not complicated, nothing like that. Then, very important, use a face with a lot of emotion, bold text, and strong contrast, right? Now, in the text, I always like to, use power words. You can go to ChatGPT and just ask it for some power words and see how you can actually implement that in your niche. Power words are crazy. You can also use them in your titles, okay? They are crazy. That's the basic formula that works. I usually spend around, as I've said, 5 minutes on a thumbnail. I just mentioned here 10, or 0 minutes if I actually hire someone to create it for me. And that's basically it. Just 4 steps. That's the whole content creation systems from start to finish, everything we do to create content. Now, something you guys have to keep in mind, right? Just if you do this here or create the content, you're not going to get rich from YouTube. Something that is super, super important and which I have to mention before we go over to the next thing is consistency. I might even wrote it wrong. I don't know. But this is one of the most important things when it comes to YouTube. And I have a video on this channel as well, which covers that very, very deeply on what exactly to stay consistent about, because it doesn't help you if you just stay consistent in one single niche and the niche will never work. All right. So consistency is one of the most important things on YouTube. As I said, I have another video on this channel where I speak specifically about this. So make sure to check that out after this video. So smart ways to grow faster on YouTube. Now that you understand the whole system, here are the things that actually help you grow your channel quicker. All right. Number 1 is a high trust score. Now, shadow bans on YouTube are 100% real. Okay. How do you see if your channel is shadow banned or not? Very simple. If your videos don't get any impressions. Okay. Now, how do you lower the chance of a low trust score? You actually go ahead and you warm up your account. So you use it as a normal user for like a few days. Watch 1 to 2 hours of content per week, per day. Very important. Subscribe, like, and comment to videos. Just use it as a normal human. Don't act like a bot. So do this for around about 1 week to lower the risk of a low trust score. Okay. Now, some people believe in it, some don't. Me personally, and also my students, have seen massive differences between accounts we have warmed up and accounts we haven't warmed up. Now, something I can mention here as well, if you have like a very old account that you've been, watching YouTube on for years, just use that account. Those are usually the most powerful accounts. Next one is pick viral video ideas. I see many people, even looking at your channels, guys, you are very lazy with picking video topics. Like, many people think like, hey, I picked a good niche, now everything is going to go viral. Video topics are simply as important as picking a niche. All right. So really put your time into that, and keep in mind that for video topics, there's also supply and demand. You also have to look how many people have actually created a video about this specific topic already. If not too many people created a video about that topic, then you can go ahead and create a video about that too. So these two things can help you speed up the whole process a lot. And then obviously niche research is also part of this, but I mentioned it here at the top already. So yeah, if you're interested in, me doing everything with you, me taking you by your hand, doing everything with you, like I did, for example, here with a student where we hit $24,000 in one single month, or here another one, $12,000 in one single month, then just check out the first link in the video description. Book a call with me personally, and I'll have a look if I can actually help you or not, and then we'll see each other in the next video.